The medical community is telling me that I have cancer, and so many people say, well, you don't look like you have cancer. And that's such a mask.
Because when I'm in my kayak, if I were to get thrown by a wave, say 40 feet tall, and land out in front of the wave, flat, I mean, it could shatter my back so easily. Or, you know, break a bunch of ribs and then hold me down for 2 minutes with the wind knocked out of me. It'd be pretty easy to die.
I do like to underscore the fact that I was trained as a reporter. A lot of people think, well, I love wine, then I could be a wine writer. Well, you could, but a lot of what I do is just sitting at my desk, answering the phone, taking notes, fact-checking. You probably know this as well. Working in journalism is not as glamorous as people think it is.
And I went in the room and it was kids who'd contracted this virus that was killing them. And they didn't know what it was. And even the doctors and nurses didn't want to go onto that ward because they weren't sure at that point whether it was airborne.
If they'd get it.
Right.
And but they knew they would all die. That was a fact.
They did know the fact was they were all dying.
That's the lure they want. So they all go to Larry's Sporting Goods or Fisherman's or Walmart or wherever they go, and they say, I want that fishing lure. And you've got to be able to respond in a moment. And I know that was a strength of Lure Jensen, because our painters were right there. And we worked 24 hours a day. That's how we built the company.
That's what reality TV is ultimately, is let's put people in ridiculous circumstances and then they'll act in an outrageous way.
Jake, you know, the young man that essentially is responsible for this injury, how do you deal with that? I mean, if it weren't for him, this wouldn't have happened. I mean, that's where my mind goes. So how do you reconcile that? Obviously you've moved past it, but there's got to be, I mean, how did you do that?
Well, acceptance. It's unfortunate, it happened, but instead of taking all that time and energy, devoting that to anger or frustration about the past, I said, I'm going to take this and go with it and go forward.
All we had were his eyes, and he couldn't speak. And so he was alive and he's awake, and that was really difficult.
Was he able to still process and understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
oh,
very
wow.
much so.
Wow.
So, you know, even at this point, you still think that he's going to get through it. You can do this, Scott. Yeah. And I would go and say that, and he can't talk to me. And I would sit there, and sometimes I just have to stop talking and just make eye contact and almost say, hey, you know what I'm saying, I know what you're saying.
Jean, thank you so much.
Well,
really a pleasure.
I've enjoyed talking to you.
Well, I've enjoyed listening. So, and you guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Thank you again for watching, and look forward to seeing you next time. And remember, take care of each other.